everyone, I'm Karunya Rao and in Ideas for Profit All Eyes on Gland Pharma. The company posted yet another strong set of numbers aided by geographical diversification strategy, partially offset by dip in margins. Q1 FY22 sales growth of 31% was backed by a 51% growth in rest of the world markets and 77% growth back home. This is broadly in line with the strategy of diversifying away from the US market. The company benefited from new partnership and increased penetration in ROW markets, which is rest of the world. In domestic market, however, the company saw benefit from additional demand for remdesivir and enoxaparin due to COVID second wave. Core markets US, Europe, Canada and Australia, which constitute about 61% of total sales, grew 16%. Ebitda margins contraction was largely on account of weaker gross margins, partially offset by better operating leverage. Among the recent contract manufacturing which caught our attention was that with Dr. Reddy's for the launch of ertapenem injection for treating serious infections, the likes of pneumonia, diabetic foot and gynecological infections essentially caused by bacteria. Now, Gland Pharma has a dedicated penem manufacturing facility in Hyderabad. This is along with an exclusive API supply arrangement which has been instrumental in the execution of this overall project. Now, do remember this is the company's first penem product in the US. It has also initiated registration of new products such as ertapenem in Latin American region. There has been a bit of a delay in the company's plan to launch Sputnik 5. However, currently if you look at it, the tech transfer for drug substance facilities underway, trials for yield enhancements are also underway, and the company perhaps expects to launch it by October 2021. According to the deal with RDIF, the company will be manufacturing and supplying close to 25 crore doses of Sputnik 5 vaccine. And to execute this, about 90 crore rupees have been spent for requisite R&D and manufacturing facility in Hyderabad. Around 200 crores have been allocated for bioreactors and vaccine storage capacities. Learnings from vaccine project are expected to strengthen the learnings needed to foray into biosimilar space. Vaccine facility itself can be utilized for biosimilar products. Company will also continue to explore M&A opportunities to acquire capabilities in complex injectables, the likes of peptides, long-acting injectables, suspensions, nasal inhalation, as well as hormonal products. It is also looking to enhance capabilities for new delivery systems such as pens and cartridges and complementary supplies for APIs from fermentation, corticosteroids and hormonal space. Currently, the company is working on about 14 odd complex injectables, of which about 2 to 3 of them may get filed in the US FDA in the current fiscal year. While the US market is still expected to clock around 18 to 20% growth for Gland Pharma in FY22, the company's foray into non-US markets will help accelerate growth. In addition to that, the company would leverage from products already approved in the US for launching in other markets. Over the medium term, share from the US should settle somewhere around 55%, with the rest coming in from other markets. Ebitda margin guidance is at least 40%, benefiting from the vertically integrated model and tech ownership, which helped garner high profit share with partners. Elevated R&D and heavy capex budget should provide adequate support for goal towards complex injectables. Other than investing in vaccine facility, the company has budgeted about 300 crore rupees for FY22 and 250 crore rupees for FY23. The company's inventory days have surged to 276 days versus 184 days in FY21 as a strategic call, as it needs to ensure raw material availability and seamless delivery to US Group Purchasing Organization later this year. The company has a robust net cash position and cash flow from operations, which is sufficient to take care of any working capital concern or capital expenditure requirement. Overall, what we like about Gland Pharma is the strong B2B platform it provides, wherein it also participates with several clients on profit sharing, facilitated by two factors: a vertically integrated model and a strong regulatory compliance history with a focus on research and development. We believe the dominance of profit sharing or royalty sharing aspect distinguishes Gland Pharma from other manufacturers. Secondly, prospects for injectables are strong. Rising prevalence of chronic diseases and growth of biologics, wherein injectables have a role in treatment, and drug delivery is a case in point. Most chemotherapy drugs and new age treatments of diabetes are delivered through injectables. Also, biologics are gaining popularity in the overall pharmaceutical industry, and injectables, especially pre-filled syringes, are witnessing increased adoption as the preferred drug delivery system. So that augurs well for a company that's looking to expand in the injectable space. IQVIA expects the injectables generic segment to grow at about 16% between 2020 to 2025. The company has an impeccable regulatory compliance history. Over the last 6 to 7 years, 40 to 60% of drug shortages in the US have been in the injectable space. Interestingly, 60% of these shortages are due to quality issues, and therefore companies with a clean track record will have an advantage, which will reflect both in the top line as well as margins. This to some extent explains Gland Pharma's leading market share in some of the generic injectable space. Broadly, due to these reasons, we remain constructive on this trading earnings compounder and believe investors can accumulate the stock during market-wide gyrations. Gland Pharma, if you look at the valuations, it trades at 30x EV Ebitda for FY23 projected earnings, which is largely in line with some of its peers, the likes of Syngene and Divi's labs. Though we believe success in complex injectables holds further re-rating potential.